Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Loki Kia in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? We have the new talk of the town from Kia. This is the totally redesigned 2021 Kia Sorento. Our particular one is near the top of the trim levels. It's an SX trim, and it's featured in this gorgeous everlasting silver color. But before we get into this new redesigned 3-row SUV from Kia, let's talk about what's going on here. We're now 4 generations in to the Kia Sorento, if you could believe that. It's been around since 2002. One of the big challenges that the designers faced for this new generation was to make it look more muscular. Many people said that the previous generation and all the ones before it looked a little too much like a minivan, almost like a moving appliance. So Kia went to the drawing board and really tried to create something where they took some of the elements of design from the Telluride, but they also put some Sorento special sauce into this recipe to really cook up a new, really eye-catching 3-row SUV. Now, you might be scratching your head like that and saying to yourself, well, what about the Telluride? That's a mid-size 3-row SUV. And guess what? You're 100% correct. But where the Sorento fits in is right underneath it. It's a little bit smaller. I think a lot of people are probably going to use this as just a 2-row SUV, but it does have that capability when the moment arises, when that opportunity is there to put somebody in that 3rd row. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to find out, is this SX trim, which remember has turbocharged power that many of you have been waiting for, is this the mid-size SUV to get when you're looking at the competition, especially from the sister brand, Hyundai with the Santa Fe, and then of course brands like Mazda with the CX-9. So let's go ahead and see if Kia knocked this one out of the park. Right off the bat, the styling is going to hit you smack dab in the center of your face in a really good way. At the front of the business, all Kia Sorento trims get LED headlights. So you're going to have your LED headlight formation. I like the way there's some silver that kind of wraps around the outside edge of it with a little bit of gloss black. The height of the housing is perfect, and really, like I said, this is where that muscular whole analogy plays in. You can see we have the LED daytime running lamps. Love the way they work the design. It kind of flows nicely into the grille, especially the way they angle cut the headlight housing. And then as we drop down, that beautiful silver, everlasting silver, you can see how you have some raised areas that extend out, some other areas that recess in. We have our side air curtain, a little bit of gloss black, kind of wraps around and then is going to flow into that center section. Even the way they work the lower portion and extended it down gives it a lot of different design element to it without it looking heavy. And I'm really digging that. Now, as we come across the center grille area, you're going to get that tiger nose grille that is unique to the Kia brand. That is their brand identifier, whether it's a Stinger, whether it's a Telluride, a Sportage, or this Sorento. Gloss black, I love all the intricate design element. They made a unique looking grille without making it look gaudy, and it definitely has that tiger nose squeezed in area. You have this open area down in the center, which is functional. It's flat black. And then you're gonna have a little bit more gloss black on the lower portion, fully functional. Remember, this has got intercooler. It's got an intercooler because it's turbocharged, intercooled, that inline 4. And then the lower portion, they made a simulated skid plate. That seems to be like the thing that you do on SUVs, make it look like it has a skid plate to make it look more rugged. But definitely from the front of the business, I see a little bit of Telluride, but I see its own unique identity. Now, when we get up onto the hood, you'll notice that front fascia, very strong body line here as it goes into the hood. And then if you want a bulge, you get a bulge. It raises up and it goes right towards the windshield, and it's gonna boomerang away and kind of fade away. The only other design element you see are the raised portions that go right into those A-pillars. Now, as we come around the bend, the cool thing about the Sorento, you have 4 different engine options, but you also have a ton of different wheel options. On our SX trim, we have these 20-inch gloss black wheels. Love the split spoke design, super clean, the Kia badge in the center. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the size of the tire that's sitting on this 20-inch wheel? 255 on the width, 45 series sidewall. You'll notice they went the gloss black route around the fender treatment. I'm gonna half zonk the amount of gloss black on this vehicle. Sitting here brand new, it looks fantastic, especially with our everlasting silver. It's like the Willy Wonka of colors, but I'm not too sure how this is gonna wear over time. So that's gonna be where that other half of the zonk might come into play down the road. But definitely sitting here, like I said, 20-inch wheels with the silver and the trim is looking classy. As we go down the fender, you'll see that nice strong body line, and then we have some ornamental treatment that's been done with some gloss black, nothing too crazy. They brought it right into the doors, the front doors, super clean. Look at how they did the body line there. Gives it that extra element so it doesn't look like you're driving around in a refrigerator or a washing machine or a dishwasher. Nobody wants to drive one of those. On the SX trim, or maybe you do, I don't know. You do what you do, I'm doing what I do. Gloss black on the mirror caps on the SX trim. Now, as Lori is zooming in, you'll see we have our LED lights, nice and slim and trim. Look at the treatment. It's not gloss black, it's a gunmetal gray. I've never seen this before. I'm really digging it along the top and the bottom. We have gloss black on the roof rails. You could get your crossbars, get your cargo basket, your kayaks, your mountain bikes, whatever you want to put back there. We have color matched on the door handles. Look at the lower portion. I love this very strong body line here. And then the way the lower sill extends down, gloss black gives it that depth, gives it that muscular strength, gives it that off-road look that many people are looking for. Now, as we get towards the rear quarter window, there's another unique thing that Kia did. Look at how they did the trim. So they took that gunmetal gray trim and they carried it up. And look at how the quarter window is not a triangle. It's a very unique shape, and I'm really digging that. Makes it stand out. Even on the rear pillar, they could have easily just rounded that and brought it right in. Look at how they put the body line in here to flow nicely into that low roof spoiler. That tells you they thought this through. Now, our particular SX is front wheel drive. You can get this all wheel drive, and there's also fog lamps on our SX that are LED down below, which is another nice touch. Now, when we get to the tail end of the business, no rear bulky wiper. They tucked it in perfectly. A little bit of gloss black on that low roof spoiler. It's got some nice design element to it. It's not just a flat piece of wood looking thing. It's got some nice flow to it. Love the rear glass. And then just like up front, you got that hard body line, kind of curves down a little bit. The Sorento name across the bottom portion. Of course, SX with the T. T stands for turbo, and that's turbo goodness. Taillights, I'm kind of on the fence. Now, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, they're nice, but the more I look at it, I feel like we need to get rid of this. If they just had that one side and not the other, I think it would look a lot cleaner. It sort of reminded me a little bit of National Lampoon's Vacation. Chevy Chase had a station wagon that had all these extra lights on it, the family truckster. I'm getting a little bit of a PTSD flashback from that. So maybe it's just me, maybe I'll get over it, but for right now, since half of this is sticking out like a sore thumb, we're gonna half zonk it. But as we drop down and we look at the lower section, they brought the gloss black in. I'm not thinking this was the smartest move, this fake vent looking area design. They should have just left that smooth, just like the top part. So I am gonna zonk that, but you do have the silver. And then these guys here, you know, if it's just there for design, I'm fine with it. If they're trying to make it look like an exhaust outlet, that's the zonk. They could have made it an exhaust outlet, and I think that would have looked really cool, but there's no exhaust to be seen, which is good. And I like the way they finished it off with some gloss black and then that skid plate design to kind of just bring it all back around, full 360. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see that turbocharged power for our Sorento. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. Now, there is a prop rod, but the good news is it is over to the passenger side, so it really cleans up underneath the hood. Now, under that hood is a plastic engine cover. It's actually pretty tasteful. It says the name Turbo on it because I think this is gonna be the more popular of the engine options. This is a 2.5 liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, 281 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed DCT transmission, 0 to 60 in around 7.2 seconds. The Sorento does weigh 4,000 pounds. And if you're wondering, Joe, what's the MPGs? 22 in the city, 29 on the highway. And that's just the half of it. Expect to see a hybrid version that's going to be coming down the pipeline, and also the first ever Sorento to have plug-in electric hybrid capability. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior because there's some big things in store on the Sorento. All right, guys, we're inside this 2021 Kia Sorento SX trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm really liking this mid-size 3-row SUV. I never thought in a million years I'd ever want a Sorento, but boy, oh boy, this one's looking really good. How much is it? For this SX trim, the way that you see it, it's an MSRP around $39,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Love what they have done. The dark up top, all soft touch. I'm really liking almost that aluminum looking finish that they have by that supersized Kia belt buckle of a door handle. And then as you move away from that texture design, you have that beautiful off-white. The nice soft leather on the armrest, the diagonal stitch work, even that grab handle there, very classy, very elegant. Now the only zonk is that door pocket is small. You know that, on a pair of jeans, that little tiny pocket that's in your pocket, that's about the size of that. So maybe one churro from 7-Eleven and a bottle of milk to wash it down. Now, as you go from the door panel to the dash, check out those AC vents. Probably some of the best looking AC vents, and I like the way there's actually two. It's a twofer. So a really clean design, soft touch material with the stitch work. There's more of that aluminum finish looking really clean. And then feast your eyes on all new infotainment system. That's 10.25 inches of visual pleasure, smack dab right in between your eyes. Navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The only zonk is, guess what? The people who buy the Sorentos with the smaller infotainment system actually get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So to me, that's a little bit of a zonk. I'll throw it into reverse. There's your backup camera. You got your blind spot monitoring protection out back, trajectory. Pretty clear on the graphics. It would have been nice if the screen was a little bit larger, but you know what? You got that wonderful touch screen, real easy to navigate through. You could go into all your different settings going into that whole system. Mode selectors I'm going to talk about when we get to the overall setup, but when you get to the media, you could actually pull up all those different sound features. Say you've had a bad day at work and you're about to get fired, just say, the hell with it, and drive home and listen to a lively forest or maybe a rainy day. Kind of makes me need to go use the restroom, but you do have the open air cafe as well. But it's just cool little features like that that separate this vehicle from the rest, and it definitely just brings up that overall level of quality and what you're getting. Now you are going to get dual climate control. I love the toggle switches, have a nice look to them. Of course, it's going to be dual climate, like I said. Loving the AC vents, the way they got that 2 vent set up. You have the aluminum start stop button over here, that aluminum trim, and then look what we have. Now there is a bunch of gloss black, but the good news is this door opens, and what do we have? We have 3 USBs and wireless charging and a place to put at least 4 Twinkies. Now you do have heated seats, but the zonk is no ventilated seats. Now there is a prestige trim where you do get the ventilated seats, but I think at 40 grand, we deserve some ventilated seats in here, and then you just close that up real slick. Now this is going to control that 8-speed DCT. You do have your drive mode selector knob here, which I'll show you more of that when you get to the business end. The 2 cup holders, and then here is your Kia key fob. It's tasteful. You got remote start. I like the way they do the buttons down the side there. You have a little bit of a tray here for some Jolly Ranchers. You have your Slim Jim tray. Nice soft on the armrest. Open that up. Look at this. You got your party tray, so you can put walnuts in there, pecans, macadamia nuts. You know what? And tell somebody, hey, take your nuts with you. And then underneath that, you have enough space, I would say, easily for 15 Snickers bars. So you're never going to get hangry. Close that up. Seats. Love the material. The stitch work is great. Perforated. The only bummer is they're not ventilated, but they are electric assist for the passenger and the driver. And then to top it off, the cherry on top of your sundae, which is looking pretty mighty good, that I want some of it, is you're going to have, of course, that panoramic sunroof. Real nice, easy to use. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Nice to have that extra feature, especially when the weather is so perfect outside to just bring in that fresh air. But why don't you come over to the business end? Because I'm telling you, you think I got plenty of room over here? You're going to love what's in front of this steering wheel. All right, guys, business time in the new Sorento. You'll notice you get a nice aluminum sill panel with the Sorento name down below. Nice touch. And then, of course, we have our seat controls on the side of the seat. That lower lumbar feels really, really good. I'm 6 feet tall, so what are you going to get? You're going to get plenty of headroom in here even with the panoramic sunroof. And then steering wheel, it's classy, it's well laid out. I love the leather, that contrast crisscross stitching, a little bit of gloss black, nice elegant looking horn button. You got flat black on the buttons, nice toggle switches, and then you have your dash. Now, if you want digital, you're gonna have to go Prestige. If you go Prestige, you will have a digital display, but you do have the center display, which is digital on this particular SX, and you have the analog speedometer and tachometer, and then you're gonna have the LED lit up bar lights for your coolant and your fuel. And then of course, like you can see, I'm scrolling through a ton of information. Of course, you get the Kia DriveWise protection system with the blind spot monitoring and all that great stuff. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into that mid-row and see how your passengers are gonna like the Sorento. All right guys, mid-row time. One thing that's super smart, check out where they put cup holders up top. That is absolutely perfect. It just lowers the risk of your kids spilling their drinks all over this beautiful interior. Now the backs of the seats are plastic, which is good as well because their fingerprints will be easily clean off. And then you're gonna have a combo, a little bit of a hybrid deal of some leatherette style material and that pesky cargo net. I'm glad they at least give you this part. You could put your back scratcher in there, maybe your abacus. And then in here, you could put your phone. I wouldn't put any knives or any cutlery or anything like that because I think that it's just gonna rip through. The smartest thing though, look what Kia did. They moved the USB to the backs of the seats up top to where you don't have wires hanging all over the place. That's smart thinking. Love the way they brought the AC vents just like up front, brought them to the back with a little bit of gloss black, a USB and a 12 volt. So they got you covered technology wise. And then the seats, they're comfy. You do have a captain's chair armrest, which is ratcheting, but it's not very wide. So I'm gonna half zonk that because it's about half the width that it should be, but we'll get that out of the way. And then of course, probably some of the greatest reclining seats in the segment. Feels really good. And I'll bring the seat back up just to show you. Plenty of headroom, which is wonderful. And you even have these little side pockets here. Think about it. It's great to have storage so that your kid's stuff isn't all over the floor and then they lose it and then they're crying and complaining all the time. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to that third row and see if your third row passengers are gonna be crying and complaining sitting in the new Sorento. All right guys, third row time. Kia makes it so simple. You hit this button, the seat just goes forward very nicely. You have some plastic down there so the kids aren't ripping up the nice carpet in your Sorento, and you're just gonna climb on in. So let's talk about this a little bit. As you can see, my knees are way too high. I would like to have my knees a little bit lower. I have this seat pushed all the way back, and my knees are still not touching the back of the seat. They're really not. So the good news is whoever's sitting here can move up just a little bit. Maybe you slip them a 20. They'll give you some extra leg room on those longer trips. But like I showed you, you have the USB, which is wonderful. I got a 12 volt, which is great. And then if you need to, I could just push that button right there and fold down that seat. And then look at this. Now we're talking. Pass me something to drink and a bag of Doritos and I'm good to go. But we have a nice little party tray here. Fill that up with Skittles. You got a cup holder, but I'm feeling good, really. Let's go ahead though. Let's see if you're gonna be feeling good for all your junk in the cargo space of the Sorento. All right guys, time to get into the cargo area. Real simple, right underneath the E's for enter. You hit that button, it raises up at a really quick pace, all electric assist. I left the third row up. I wanted to showcase how much room there is, or I should say how little room there is. It's about 12.6 cubic feet of space with those seats up. Now what's wonderful is we do have some under the cargo floor storage, so you could probably put, I would say, 4 full Twinkie boxes back here. And then to get the seats down, it's so simple. You don't even need to practice it even once. You just go and do it. So what you're gonna do, you're just gonna pull and drop. Drop it like it's hot. Now you have the third row down. I think a lot of people are gonna utilize their Sorento this way. If you want maximum cargo space, like you wanna go big because you wanna go home, you fold down that mid row, you're looking at almost 76 cubic feet of space. While we have these seats down, I want to showcase, look how smart Kia is. This is, you can go spend more money at other brands. Look at this. Third row, we have USB on both sides. So that's a USB. And then on the driver's side, we also have a USB. We have a nice place for your phone, cup holder, Skittles, whatever snacks you want to put back there. We have the room, but you know what? we got some turbocharged power underneath the hood. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go take this Sorento SX for a spin. All right, guys, we left Loki Kia. We're in the 2021 Sorento SX. We have that turbocharged power, and right away, this being the second time that I've driven the new Sorento, just so well laid out, and it feels really, really good in here. This new 10.25-inch screen is really mind-blowing, and I like the way it kind of just folds nicely into the gauge cluster. I'm looking forward to bringing you the Prestige that will have the full digital display. Remember, we talked about that drive mode selector. Right now I have it in sport, but all at the flick of a knob, you can go into your different modes. Eco, comfort, of course, smart, and then back to sport. We're gonna leave it in sport because I really wanna get a feel for that turbocharged engine that we have. But steering wheel feels great, the style, all the level of materials have just been raised. The bar has been raised so high in this, and if you compare it to the competition, I think many of the competitors are just lacking, and I think they did a fantastic job with this Sorento. Is it perfect? No. I know a lot of you, and put in the comment section how you feel about the amount of gloss black, not only on the outside, but also this center console area has a lot of gloss black here. But it is nice to have the silver trim. I'm just really wishing they had ventilated seats on this almost $40,000 Sorento. But let's go ahead on throttle. So yes, you are getting much quicker acceleration in this SX compared to the Sorento S that we first drove, which just has the naturally aspirated inline 4. Really smooth shifts from that 8-speed DCT, and visibility, like I mentioned before, is so wonderful in this Sorento. Now, you may want to look into going all-wheel drive because we actually did lose traction for a bit there under the acceleration. So just something to be aware of, but I'm telling you, it's really quiet in here. The 20-inch wheels, they don't ride stiff or firm, so that's good with the 45 series sidewall on those 20-inch tires. And then the amount of room in here on the new chassis is just, it's really wonderful. They did such a great job, and if you haven't been in a Kia in a while, you definitely want to get behind the wheel, not only of the Sorento. If you were going to Loki Kia, I would drive a Telluride and a Sorento back to back to see really how you feel about it. I have some sunlight coming in. It's not causing too much glare as of right now, so it would be interesting if it was a sunnier day, or at least a sunny part of the day, what all this gloss black would do. But having the separate AC vents is kind of cool for directing air on the upper part of your body and lower part of your body. Steering has a light feel, has that usual light feel that most Kias have, so I would like a little bit more steering sensitivity with weight. But other than that, how everything is laid out in here is just fan-freaking-tastic. Digital display, it is on the small side, but it does have color graphics, which is nice. And like I said, if you want full digital, you could get that with the Prestige trim. Let me see if I could get some acceleration here. We're gonna come to a dead stop. On throttle, here we go. So a bit of lag from the turbocharged engine, and there was some tire spin there. So it was a little sluggish, and you're really looking at 7.1 seconds, 7.2 seconds, 0 to 60, which to me, I thought it would be a little bit quicker, to be honest with you. No paddles on the steering wheel. You can shift manually with the actual shift lever itself, which is good. But overall, just very pleasant experience in this new Sorento, and from a styling standpoint, it definitely is bringing what they promised, that more muscular style. And as we sit here, just all the switchgear, it feels really good, which is wonderful. Seats are supportive without being too firm, and all the controls, I'm telling you, it just makes sense in here. I think that's really where they just knock it out of the park, is with the ease of use. And the height of the infotainment system is at a good height. It's not blocking anything, which is wonderful. You never want to have that. And I like the way it integrates into the gauge pod. But as we pull on the highway, let's do another on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So smooth shifts from the 8-speed DCT. I'll go ahead and put in comfort, and you'll notice that it drops the RPM as it changes into comfort mode. Really nice. Then you just drive around. It's nice and smooth. So here we are doing 60 miles an hour, and we're turning about around 1800 RPM, which sounds just about right for those fuel economy numbers. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what the Sorento is about for 2021. We're going to be bringing you the other trim, so don't worry about that. But we're going to get back to Loki Kia and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another wonderful day here at Loki Kia. I definitely got to thank Robert, Danny, the rest of the crew, getting us a 2021 Sorento SX trim. Does it bring a lot of value for the money? You better bet your bottom dollar. Having the turbocharged power, I really think that's going to be the engine choice to go with. Plus, you look at all the new amenities that we have on the interior. They're doing some amazing things at Kia, and I'm telling you, I think they're going to keep the success going with that Telluride, with the Sorento. I can't wait to see what's in store for the upcoming models and redesigns. But if you want to keep seeing midsize, 3-row SUVs that are all new here on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera. She is my rock. She holds down this whole operation, bringing you the footage. Definitely show Lori some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.